Every now and then we come across a movie that just doesn't quite live up to our expectations. For me, A Better Tomorrow turned out to be one such film. Although the movie may have its share of admirers, I personally found it to be a lackluster experience that struggled to maintain my interest. Despite its attempts at offering a gripping story and engaging characters, A Better Tomorrow falls short in several aspects, ultimately earning a mediocre 3 out of 10 rating in my book. A Better Tomorrow attempts to weave a tale of redemption and loyalty, but it simply fails to deliver on its promise. The pacing is slow, the storyline is convoluted, and it's difficult to follow the narrative without feeling disconnected from the characters. This sense of disengagement is only exacerbated by the wooden acting and underdeveloped character arcs, which leave much to be desired. Furthermore, A Better Tomorrow's action sequences, which should have been one of its redeeming qualities, are surprisingly mundane and poorly executed. The choreography feels uninspired, and the movie's action set pieces lack the level of excitement and intensity one would expect from the genre. The lack of memorable adrenaline-pumping moments only adds to the movie's tedious atmosphere, making it an arduous experience to sit through. It's not all doom and gloom, though, as the film does have a few positive elements. The cinematography is visually appealing, with some beautifully shot scenes that provide a breath of fresh air amidst the otherwise uninspiring content. However, these artistic flourishes are not enough to save the movie from its overarching mediocrity. One of the key issues with A Better Tomorrow is that it fails to evoke any strong emotional response. The characters' struggles and the bonds between them should have been the film's driving force, but their lack of depth and nuance makes it difficult to genuinely care about their fates. In the end, this absence of emotional investment makes the film feel like a hollow shell of what it could have been. Perhaps my expectations were too high, or maybe A Better Tomorrow just wasn't the right movie for me, but I ultimately found it to be an underwhelming experience. While there might be some viewers who can appreciate the film for what it is, it certainly didn't resonate with me. If you're looking for a riveting, emotionally charged movie that keeps you hooked from start to finish, I would recommend looking elsewhere. In summary, A Better Tomorrow fails to deliver on the promise of its title. With a plodding pace, lackluster action sequences, and uninspired storytelling, the movie struggles to maintain interest, making it a challenging viewing experience for anyone seeking a captivating and emotionally resonant film. Despite its few redeeming qualities, A Better Tomorrow ultimately falls short of expectations, earning a disappointing 3 out of 10 rating from me. A Better Tomorrow 2, directed by John Woo and starring Chow Yun-fat, T. Lung, and Leslie Cheung, is a Hong Kong action film that picks up where the original left off. I recently finished watching this movie, and to be honest, I found it to be quite disappointing. Despite the hype and the promise of an engaging action-packed experience, the film failed to hold my interest and left me struggling to stay awake. The plot of A Better Tomorrow 2 centers on the attempt to bring down a powerful drug lord and the conflict between brothers Ho, T. Long, and Kit, Leslie Cheung. While the story had potential, the narrative was fragmented and felt disjointed at times, making it difficult to follow and engage with the characters. The pacing was also slow, and the lack of any compelling emotional stakes resulted in a movie that was hard to invest in. The action sequences, which should have been the highlight of the film, were marred by an overabundance of gunplay and unrealistic stunts that strained credibility. The excessive use of slow motion and repetitiveness of the shootouts became tiresome, diminishing their overall impact. Even the charismatic presence of Chow Yun-fat, reprising his role as Mark, couldn't save these scenes from feeling drawn out and lackluster. The performances by the main cast were adequate, but were hampered by the underdeveloped characters and weak dialogue. T. Lung and Leslie Cheung do their best with the material they're given, but their characters lack depth and nuance. This makes it challenging for the audience to relate to or sympathize with them, especially as they face the moral dilemmas presented in the film. One redeeming quality of A Better Tomorrow 2 is its cinematography, which offers some visually striking moments. The camera work is inventive and dynamic, capturing the chaos of the action scenes and highlighting the tension in dramatic moments. Unfortunately, this artistic flair isn't enough to save the film from its narrative and pacing issues. In conclusion, A Better Tomorrow 2 fails to live up to the expectations set by its predecessor, resulting in a lackluster sequel that is hard to recommend. The underwhelming action sequences, slow pacing, and disjointed narrative make this movie a chore to sit through. I can't help but give A Better Tomorrow 2 a rating of 2 out of 10. While it might appeal to some die-hard fans of Hong Kong action cinema, I found it to be a boring and unsatisfying experience,